He needs to develop that in the
Great
offseason.
offensively.
What?
I think Ibaka's great offensively.
No, I think he's kind of one-dimensional.
Oh yeah, he just has that mid-range jumper. He doesn't
Yeah,
really have a post game.
when he's playing against good defenders, he just does a jab step and fades away for jumpers that just clank, and the Oklahoma City Thunder fans are just hoping it will go into the basket instead of maybe taking it off the dribble or having a few jump hooks would help. He doesn't really have that in his game, and I think that really hurts the Oklahoma City Thunder offense. And it doesn't really help to have Kendrick Perkins not being an offensive threat either. I feel bad for him, but he's just not the offensive guy that the Thunder need.
So where do you think OKC will be when Westbrook returns? What seed do you think OKC will be?
Well, if San Antonio and Portland gain really good, I mean, if Portland gets on another hot streak, 10 to 12 game winning streak, and Oklahoma City has a few 5-game skid here, 2-game skid here, who knows? They could drop all the way to the 3rd seed. That's how I really view it.
Okay, that's it. I'm thinking with the
worse?
Clippers heating up, San Antonio and Portland are doing their thing. I'd say when Westbrook comes back, OKC could be 5.
What you really you think from December to February they can drop down from like 1 to 5?
Hey, Clippers and Houston are right there, 21
True.
and 11, 21 and 12.
True.
Houston and Clippers are playing better other than those 2 losses, those heartbreakers on the road. They've been playing great basketball. Blake Griffin's playing out of his mind. So I don't think they're gonna. I think they'll go back up though.
You think they could recover? Like, could they go from 1 to 5 and then all of a sudden go from 5 to 1? From February to
I see them getting right in the middle at 2 or 3 and having to play like Minnesota or maybe a Phoenix in the first round. If Phoenix is able to maintain that.
Phoenix would be interesting to see in the playoffs. I wonder if their fast pace could do well in the slow. Yeah, I don't think so
I see
either.
them getting swept in the first round. Honestly, if they make it.
Wow, really?
I mean, they're good. They're really good. They whooped on the Lakers. But a lot of teams do that. But I just don't think that. I think they're just a team that should. They're good in the season, but then they take that playoff, and I think they're just gonna get swept. Teams are. I mean, you're good at home, and then you go on the road, you lose 2. You try to come home, you win 1. Maybe they lose 4-1. They'll get 1 at home. I don't see them as a.
Hey, at least they get 1. I mean, it's for
1.
Hornacek. Just get 1 for him. I mean, let's see here. Al Horford, he's out for the entire year. Atlanta, they're the 3 seed, but again, it's going to be tough to do it without Al Horford. Can they still make the playoffs without Al?
Oh, come on, Cameron.
No, I mean,
what the Eastern Conference, where Boston is 13 and 17 in the 8th spot.
Okay, how about this? Can they win a round?
Depending on who they play. If they draw a Detroit or say a Washington, then I don't think so.
Okay, so do you think they're just going to sit at the 3rd seed, or do you think they're going to drop at all? Because I really think Washington and Charlotte could spark a little bit of danger and a little bit of fear in Atlanta, maybe jump up a little bit.
Atlanta's kind of, they're a little. I think they can hold their own. They're consistent. Maybe they get Andrew Bynum. They can.
Oh no!
They could use them.
Well, yeah, they would, but.
They're playing Elton Brand at the center. Elton Brand is playing the center position, Cameron.
Every time I think about Elton Brand, I just think about 2006 Clippers playoffs. That's the only solid memory I have of Elton Brand. But yeah, I mean, I just can't believe Toronto. They've done so well after the Rudy Gay trade.
Yeah, they're playing. back-to-back nights of beating the Knicks.
I know, it's just...
Oh, that's how you know it's bad. First of all, how do you lose the first one in a close game. Then you go to Toronto and you get blown out. You figure it'd be the other way around. It'd be a close game or you'd win. How do you know? Oh gosh, I just can't talk about the Knicks. There you go. Train wreck of the season, New York Knicks.
Okay. To me, the reason why, yeah, I agree with you with the Knicks thing, but to me, the thing that just bothers me about the Eastern Conference is I can't tell if this is really just going to stay the way it is,
I know.
or if somebody's just going to jump up. Because, look, I can't imagine, if Boston makes the playoffs, congratulations to Gerald Wallace, and congratulations to, Crawford and all those guys, and Vitor, and Brad Stevens would need a big congratulations, but there's no way I see them making the 8th spot. I really don't. I think Chicago may. I mean...
Oh, yeah, Chicago. What the heck
Hey,
happened?
Orlando's not... Orlando, I really think with Oladipo... Maybe. They're only 3 games back.
Huh?
They're only 3 games back. Oladipo and Tobias Harris could get on this crazy run with Jock Vaughn and barely make it. I don't know. I mean...
Yeah, the East, you're right, the East is such a... You don't know if this is going to stay or whether teams are just... Like, people wouldn't think that Charlotte would make the playoffs.
Okay, Okay, besides the top 3 teams, who's the best team in the East?
Besides
the
Atlanta,
top...
Miami, and Indiana?
Yeah.
I want to say Detroit. I really want... They have the most talent. I don't know if they're
I think Washington's the best. Or Charlotte.
Detroit and Cleveland are the least disciplined teams in the league, honestly.
I just think Washington and Charlotte could really provide a lot of trouble for Atlanta.
No.
Yes, I don't...
Big Al,
Charlotte could, just for the simple fact of McBoberts and Al Jefferson. I think just that alone could threaten Atlanta. Toronto, no. I really think they're not. I don't think they're for real. And then Washington, I think they could be big with Beal and Wall, with your favorite broken down Nene. I think they can get it done. Trust me.
And your guy, Al Harrington.
And, hey, Martell Webster's on my fantasy team. I love you, Martell, for all you've done, especially from the three-point line. Keep doing what you're doing and keep getting wins for the Wizards. That's just what I see in the East. Is there anything...
I think Boston will make the playoffs. I think Boston can make the playoffs. If they're able to stay around 8th or 9th until Rondo comes back mid-February, Rondo comes back to normal by March, you win some games, you sneak into the 8th.
What do you think about Chicago? You think they're going to miss it?
They're not looking too good right now, honestly. They're 11-17.
Even without Rose, they have a lot of talent. Just compared to those other teams in the East.
They need to get Luol Deng healthy. They need a better performance from Joakim Noah, I think. He's not playing like the all-star he was last year.
Yeah, but that's also partially the reason why. I mean, he's got a lot of pressure on his load, considering how much he has to score offensively. And to be honest, he's never had to carry such a big offensive load.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
They don't have that spark plug like they did last year. Yeah, I think they'll be okay. I think they'll work the way into like a 6th or 7th slot.
So then who's gonna miss it?
Who's gonna miss?
Yeah, because you got Washington and Charlotte. You think Charlotte's gonna miss?
Yes.
No.
It's Charlotte. They can lose 10 in a row like that. They can.
Big Al won't let it happen.
Big Al. Oh gosh. Putting your faith in Big Al Jefferson.
Yes, I am.
Down, Big Al.
Yes, I am.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. The Eastern Conference is just... Okay, what about Brooklyn? Is Brooklyn Should Brooklyn just tank or what? What's going on with them?
Yeah, they should. They should just right now. They should trade Garnett and Pierce again.
Oh gosh.
No, I mean they gotta do something at the trade deadline. You
I
think
know,
they can go without doing anything at the trade deadline?
Would they be able to trade Brook Lopez? Can you do that? Can you trade an injured player?
That's a good quote because I've never really seen that happen before.
Because if you could, they could probably trade. I don't know if it's Brook Lopez though. I think he's young, but he's had injuries and.
Yes, you can. By the way, trade an injured player.
Oh.
According to Real GN, that you can trade an injured player. So you think, okay, but that means you're gonna be blowing everything up.
Yeah, true. I don't know what they need. They're just a team that I don't know. People say Jason Kidd's they're not giving the players the right roles. Like people are going in to talk to him about it, and he's not. He's isolating himself within the team and the management.
This is worse than Shaq and Kobe. This is like Shaq and Kobe 2.0. I mean, this is like the worst of the worst you could get from a team full of veterans who really don't believe in each other and they turn the back on their coach consistently. And then he calls them out saying they don't have heart or they don't have that competitive spirit. Kid is such a downer. I mean, he's got to stop with all that. He should be inspiring, not threatening for success.
Yeah, you think as a player, a guy who just was a player last year, he kind of let his veterans like Garnett and like Pierce kind of like run the show, sort of, but he'd still be the coach. He's kind of.
He's a dictator.
I don't think he's a very good coach. First of all, and I don't think it was right for the Nets to hire him.
I know there were so many good options. You could have gone with Nate McMillan. I mean, you could go.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Brian Shaw was open still.
Phil Jackson, no, that would be crazy.
George Karl, maybe George Karl if he was available.
Yeah.
What's Byron Scott? He's a good coach.
Larry Drew before he got to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking getting Jason Kidd. I think it was such an impulse buy, as you said, impulse hire to get a guy who just retired. Then less than a month later, oh yeah, you're a new coach. You're going to coach a team that has championship expectations.
I know. To me, the biggest mystery in the NBA is why Nate McMillan doesn't have a job.
I know. He was a great coach in Portland.
I don't understand why Nate McMillan is going through this amount of suffering. Okay, he's the Olympic coach, but he wants to be more than that. And I think he's prime for a job somewhere in the NBA. It's ridiculous. Let's talk about Steve Nash receiving a reevaluation on his leg. Do you think this is just tank for Wiggins, or you gotta just... how are they going to do this with Nash and try to make the playoffs?
They're not going to reevaluate him for another 2 to 3 weeks. And that could mean, okay, you reevaluated, you're out for another month.
And by the time he gets back into game shape, you're looking at March, maybe?
I don't think the Lakers aren't making the playoffs. I think the West is just too competitive. Teams, if you drop a couple games, like Lakers have dropped 5 in a row, they're sitting at 13 and 18, not far from the Kings actually at 9 and 20. When you're close to the Kings, something's gone wrong.
Yeah, that's true, but
they haven't had Pau Gasol the last 3 games.
Yeah, it's a disaster in LA right now. I mean, I didn't see it to be this bad, but
I didn't see. Yeah, once Kobe got back, that was the biggest shocker of him getting injured again.
Yeah,
I didn't think that would happen. They're
I think